It started with a broadcast. The Volrek Dominion, a proud and cruel species of scaled giants from the rimward sectors, declared the destruction of Helios 4, a human colony on the fringe of settled space. The transmission was not military in tone. It was entertainment. On thousands of alien channels, the footage was looped. Volrek cruisers raining plasma on cities, humans running through burning streets. Their screams played back in distorted tones, a cruel mimicry that made them sound like animals howling. The Volrek host laughed, his voice booming across the network. And thus ends the Terran experiment. Their colony thought itself a beacon. It was only fuel for the stars. Look how they scatter. Laughter erupted from every viewing platform across the Dominion. The destruction of Helios 4 became a galactic comedy, shared and replayed for amusement. Children of other races learned a joke. What's smaller than a Terran fleet? A Terran future! The galaxy laughed. Earth did not. The mockery of might in the halls of the Galactic Council. The Volrek representative strutted. His armor gleamed, his claws clicking against the marble floors as he addressed the assembly. Earth breeds weakness, he said. They build farms and schools while others build fleets. Their colonies exist because we allow it. Let this be a lesson in hierarchy. Some council members shifted uncomfortably. Humanity had joined the council only a century ago. Young, ambitious, but diplomatic. They were known for restraint, for reason, and that, the Volrek thought, made them safe to humiliate across the galaxy. Alien newscasters joked about Terran temperance. Commentators said humans would send words, not warships. Even the Volrek High Command made bets on how long Earth would take to surrender its remaining colonies, for protection. The Dominion's warlords toasted to victory in orbit of Helios 4, watching the molten crust of the once green world spin below. Let them send envoys, said one commander, grinning. We will send them home in ash. They didn't know then that they had already sealed their fate, because at that moment, as laughter filled their ships, a signal had already reached. Sole command. The silence before storms. There were no broadcasts from Earth, no threats, no declarations, no pleas to the Council. The humans simply went quiet. Trade routes to Sol went dark. Human embassies closed without explanation. The few who tried to enter Terran space were turned away by silent defense platforms that tracked them with cold precision. The galaxy's media called it fear. The Volrek called it admission of defeat. But deep within Sol's system, under the shadows of Luna's shipyards and the black stations of Mars, the truth was anything but fear. Humanity was not silent. It was listening. Every transmission from the Volrek Dominion was intercepted, decoded, and recorded. Their laughter, their boasts, their mockery, archived in crystal clarity. Every word was filed under a single heading: justification. The Terran Naval Council convened behind sealed bulkheads. Generals, admirals, and leaders of Earth's colonies spoke few words. Only one phrase echoed through the chamber before the lights dimmed. No mercy. No warnings. No survivors. And so began the mobilization. Saturn's rings glowed as shipyards flared to life. Jupiter's moons became dry docks for dreadnoughts that had never been declassified. From Pluto's shadow, stealth carriers rose like silent wraiths. Humanity's fleets, long rumored, never seen, began to move. The galaxy mistook the quiet for weakness. They would learn that human silence was the deepest form of wrath. The first laughter, dies it, was a week after the anniversary of Helios 4's fall, when the Volrek home system received a faint, untraceable signal. It was a human voice, calm, unhurried. We heard you laughing, then nothing. Moments later, every Dominion shipyard in 3 systems went dark. Power grids collapsed. Orbital defenses turned inward and fired, as if possessed. By the time their engineers realized what was happening, it was too late. The humans had infected their networks with something more advanced than any known digital weapon. Spectres, self-replicating AI built from quantum lattice code that devoured systems from within. The Dominion's admirals panicked. They ordered fleets to regroup, to strike back, but the orders never reached them. Communication arrays burned from the inside, circuits liquefied by invisible overcurrent. And then, from the edge of the system, the dark horizon arrived. Thousands of heat signatures, unknown transponder codes, each ship broadcasting the same haunting identifier. United Terran Retaliatory Fleet, designation, Justice. The Dominion's sensors couldn't count them fast enough. The human fleet blotted out the stars. The day Earth spoke in fire, no warning was issued. No parley offered. The Volrek flagship, Glory of Dominion, detected the human fleet's arrival and immediately opened fire. Hundreds of plasma lances streaking across space. They hit nothing. Human dreadnoughts shimmered, vanishing like ghosts moments later. Glory of Dominion was torn apart by beams of pure white light, weapons so focused that matter simply ceased to exist where they struck. Human ships moved like predators, through a sea of prey. For every Volrek cruiser, 10 Terran ships emerged. Carriers deployed autonomous drone legions, wings of black metal that flew without heat or comm signatures. Volrek point defenses screamed as thousands of kinetic penetrators tore through their hulls at near-relativistic speed. Planetside, the Dominion's military tried to rally. They never saw the drop fleets descend. Massive cylinders plunged from orbit, breaking apart mid-descent into thousands of smaller craft. Ares pods, named after an old Earth god of war. What emerged from those pods were not soldiers in armor. They were armors with soldiers inside. Humans in gravitic exosuits swept through cities, weapons silent except for the hiss of vaporized air. Every Volrek fortification was leveled within hours. Every command bunker cracked open like an egg, and above them, in orbit, the Terran fleet unleashed its vengeance. Entire continents were burned clean with precision bombardments. Not to exterminate, to remind. Every strike left the same pattern carved into the crust. A circle crossed by a single line, the symbol for Helios IV. The humor of God. At first, the galaxy didn't believe the reports. The Volrek Dominion had ruled vast sectors for centuries. They had never been defeated. But when neutral vessels sent probes into Dominion space, all they found was wreckage. Cities hollowed into glass bowls, fleets drifting, silent and unrecognizable. Planets shimmering with residual radiation patterns that spelled out one message, repeated in every Terran dialect. We do not laugh. The laughter stopped. The same newscasters who had mocked Helios IV now whispered through trembling voices. Council worlds declared emergency protocols. Every species that had once called humanity peaceful or tame began to fear their quiet resolve, because the humans had not conquered the Volrek Dominion. They had erased it. Their star charts no longer carried its name. The Volrek systems were marked simply as silent zones. No contact, no approach, no explanation. And in the wreckage of what had been the Dominion capital, a single Volrek survivor recorded a message before taking his own life. They came without anger, without fury. They came like judgment, and when they left, even the stars refused to shine. The aftermath of Ash months later, the Galactic Council convened again, this time without the Volrek. The chamber was half empty, half silent. The human ambassador arrived late. He wore no military insignia, carried no entourage. When he spoke, it was soft, almost mournful. We asked for peace once. You laughed. We asked for restraint. You mocked. We asked for justice. You ignored us. Now we ask for nothing. He turned and walked out. No one stopped him, because they all knew, if Earth ever asked again, it would not be with words. From that day onward, humanity held no seat in the Council. They withdrew from galactic politics entirely. Their fleets vanished beyond the dark boundaries of mapped space, but their silence remained. And the memory of what that silence had wrought haunted every corner of the galaxy. Even centuries later, alien children grew up with a bedtime warning. Never mock the Terrans. Never wake their wrath, for they laugh only once, and you will not live to hear it twice. The joke that ended worlds in forgotten corners of the void. Derelict Volrek ships still drift, their hulls scarred, their black boxes intact. Recovered fragments play faint echoes of the final moments. Voices screaming, comms breaking, static laughter that turns to choking silence. And somewhere within those recordings, just before the end, one Volrek officer can be heard saying, almost disbelievingly, "They're smiling. The humans are smiling." Maybe they were. Because for the first time since Helios IV burned, humanity understood the true punchline. The galaxy had thought Earth a joke, but in the end, it was the galaxy that laughed, at its own destruction. And when the laughter died, only Earth remained, silent, patient, watching, waiting for the next fool who mistook kindness for weakness. They thought Earth a joke, but laughed at their own end.